My fellow Sixers fans, I wanted to share with you a fantastic article I just read about Matisse Thybulle, one that makes me very excited to see what he is going to look like in this upcoming season. I know that a lot of you are very low on Thybulle as a player. You've wanted him to be traded, you're just not a fan of him at all, and I have never once understood that. I think he is one of the most entertaining players to watch defensively ever. And I think he is young enough, with enough potential, that it would be absolutely idiotic to trade this man on his rookie deal when he has so much room to grow and so much to contribute to this team defensively alone. But a whole lot of people don't seem to agree with me on that, so I'm really hoping that this article ends up proving me right in this upcoming season and proving all of the doubters wrong. Sorry, been at Firefly the last 2 days, so my throat is completely worn out. But Matisse Thybulle could be the most improved Sixer this summer after putting in a massive amount of work in the offseason. I'm not going to go through every single part of this article, but I'm going to cover the highlights. So first of all, Canada's changed its vaccine requirement policy. Now, regardless of what you think of the vaccine thing, we're not going to get into that today, but it was pretty frustrating to have Matisse Thybulle not able to play in Canada. That is thankfully no longer going to be an issue, so that's a great thing. Thybulle has added 7 pounds to his frame. That's a pretty good amount of muscle for a dude that size. That's a big gain. That's a big thing for him being able to play potential small ball lineups at the power forward. I could think of specific situations where you can throw the 6'4", 6'5" Matisse Thybulle in there at power forward. He was already decent at guarding bigger players. That extra 7 pounds is really going to help, but I don't think that's enough weight that it's really going to slow him down against guards either. I think it's really a good amount of muscle gain. This is my favorite part of the article right here. Thybulle has spent this summer working out with Portland Trail Blazers perennial All-Star Damian Lillard and renowned shooting coach Phil Beckner in Phoenix, as well as other places. So improving his outside shooting was one of his focuses, which he explicitly said at the end of the season. Nobody seemed to pay attention to that. I've seen a lot of people like, oh, he hasn't improved in several years, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to get into that a little more in a minute, but this is the first offseason where Thybulle explicitly said, I am going to go, and I am going to work on my offensive game. He's never done that before. People are like giving him the Ben Simmons treatment, but Ben Simmons gave us this bullcrap every single summer, where he would be in the gym shooting threes, and we'd hear all these reports about how Ben Simmons is coming in with a jump shot. And then the new year would start and literally nothing would change. Matisse Thybulle, this is the first time, okay? Now, maybe it's all BS. Maybe nothing changes. But when it is the first time that a player has said something they haven't lied to us before, I'm willing to sit here and give him the benefit of the doubt. He also went to Los Angeles and he worked on his ball handling and finishing around the basket with DeMar DeRozan and a ball handling whiz, Johnny Stephenay. I think I'm saying it correctly. So, like, you've seen, I'm not going to play these clips here, but, like, Matisse Thybulle, you've probably seen this specific clip. I guess I am just going to play the clip. You've probably seen this whole clip before. It was going around on Instagram not too long ago. This dude has really been putting in the work. Daryl Morey is here praising him, and so far, Morey hasn't done anything wrong for us yet, so I'm going to take his word for it. And Thybulle's talked about the fact here that he didn't really get the chance to improve before this summer. Like, everybody's like, oh, he's like, he doesn't do anything his offseason. But you look at it, there was the pandemic lockdown, and then the bubble, and then, last summer, he was in Australia, and so, he may have been making minor improvements, he's working while playing, but the man hasn't gotten a full summer to just put his butt in the gym and do nothing but grind on specific skills that he needs to work on, because, like, when you're playing with the Australian team, you gotta focus on what you're good at. You don't really have time playing for your national team to sit there and, like, let me learn to become a shooter, let me learn to become a ball handler. You can't do that in games. You really have to do that stuff in the gym. And then, there's not too much out of it left in this article, just talking about his struggles last season, and also about the way that Sixers fans have been treating him. And I think this looks extra bad after the recent Ben Simmons interview, like I said in that video, in case you didn't see it. Ben Simmons, I don't fully forgive him. I think that a lot of the criticism he received was justified, but I also think that fans were too harsh on him in many ways, and that some of the reason he wanted to leave with all the bullcrap he was dealing with was reasonable, and Thybulle has been getting a lot of the same treatment, and unlike Ben Simmons, where it was partially deserved, I have never understood the Thybulle hate. I was mad at him for not being vaccinated too, because we needed him in that first round series against the Raptors, or at least it seemed like we did. We ended up not struggling against them as much as we expected to, but I was mad at him then, but all these people coming at his throat about people who want him traded. They say he sucks. They say that, he's this terrible player. He needs to get out of Philadelphia. Nobody can stand him. It's just why? Why are you hating on this guy so much? This is a man who has made All-NBA defensive team second selections twice. He is the first player since 1994 or 1995 to make back-to-back all-defense teams without being a full-time starter. That's insane, okay? This doesn't happen. Fourth in the league in steals while also averaging slightly more than a block a game. Why do you want to get rid of this man so much? Here's him working on his ball handling and his finishing around the rim. This man has so much room to grow. He is already so impactful. Defensively, I really think that Thybulle is a huge part of this Sixers team. I think that when you have a backcourt of James Harden and Tyrese Maxey, you need someone like Thybulle who can sit there and almost guard two players on his own because he is that good defensively. I love Maxey. I love his defensive hustle. I've talked about this. But Tyrese Maxey is small. He's a small guy. He's pretty good at navigating screens for his size. He hustles his butt off, but he just isn't a switchable defender because of his size. And then James Harden, he's had defensive issues his entire career. I don't expect him to suddenly become a positive on that end at the age of 34. It's just not reasonable to assume. So having Matisse Thybulle out there, able to really help cover for those guys' liabilities on the perimeter, is just absolutely massive for this team. I really, really hope this is all legit. This is a lot of information that makes me extremely excited to see Matisse Thybulle. Don't freak out if on the very first day of the season, he isn't immediately shooting 5 threes a game on a 40% clip. He's probably not going to have a Tyrese Maxey level leap. But if we can just see some very real, visible improvement for him, because I've said this the whole time, all we need from Thybulle is for him to hit his wide open three-pointers. That's all we need. If he can literally just be a slightly worse PJ Tucker on offense, where he just shoots league average or a little bit above on his wide open threes, especially in the corner, that's all we need him to do. He can become a better finisher at the rim. I'm hoping he does that this season. He's got the athleticism to be a great lob target with Harden, and defensively, he's already incredible. So really, really excited to see what Thybulle does in this upcoming season after reading this. Maybe I'm getting my hopes up falsely. We'll see, but I'm thrilled that Matisse Thybulle has put in the work this offseason, and I really do believe it's going to pay off, and he's going to be a key contributor to this team chasing the championship in 2023.